Today we talking about gardening. We had catering by IGA, and they brought a big thing of homemade vegetable soup. And I wanted them to have vegetable soup because we're talking about vegetables. We're talking about gardening. And we know that gardening, you know, Appalachia gardens. But black folks garden too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I remember my daddy having a cornfield up on the hill, up on Oakhurst. I remember Grandpa had a garden. You know, couple of generations before us.
Yeah.
I mean, gardening was a necessity. They gardened because they had to eat.
Right.
So today, I invited Portia Combs to come because she gardens.
Yeah.
And I mean, she has a garden, and she grows all kind of things in her garden. I wanted her to just introduce herself, tell who she is, and a little bit of her background and so forth. And Portia, how you got into gardening? Why do you garden? So tell us a little bit about yourself and why do you garden?
Well, my name is Portia Combs, and I'm 67 years old. Come from a large family, and when you had a large family, you had to find a way to feed them. So my daddy had a garden. We never were able to go and work in the garden because you got too many kids. You get too many kids, you got destruction, you know? And I've always loved it. I find gardening to be very therapeutic and relaxing. And it's hard, but then at the same time, you know, I always try to see the best in everything. I try to find things that keep me positive. And it keeps my mouth shut about some things. It keeps me grounded, you know. I wake up every morning and I thank God because that's the way I start my day. And when I want to start gardening, I didn't know how to garden. You know, I just began to ask questions, and people always got a habit of telling you, well, be quiet, well, you talk too much, and, you know, this, that, and other. So I was the type of child, I was always curious. Didn't matter. I like doing all kind of stuff. And so anything that I do, I want to try to do it the best that I can, but I want to find the proper way to do it. And way that I garden may not be what somebody else think proper to them, but I have produce. And if you get produce, that's the best thing you can do, you know, because that's how I started gardening. It's very therapeutic. But one thing I tell anybody, if you're going to garden, you need to start off the right way, the best you know how. And people want to till the ground and all this, that, and the other. Well, we had a tiller, and he sat out there and got rusty and stopped working. So I till mine by hand, you know, got a hole, old regular hole. And that's the hardest way to do it, but it's the easiest way. Because after I found out when I allowed them to till it, I had more weeds than I did when I did it that way. So, and you're always going to find weeds in a garden, and I don't care what you do. If you start a garden, this cup is empty, as you see. If you don't ever put anything in it, there's nothing going to be in it. Nothing. And everything starts with a seed. I don't care what it is. It starts with a seed. We started with a seed. And so, you know, God said a man should eat, but he got to sweat by his brow. And a lot of people don't want to sweat. Garden, you're going to sweat. You're going to get mad. You're going to get aggravated. And you're going to have some victories and you're going to have some losses. I remember one time this past summer, I had to put my garden out. And I had to put it out 4 times because the rain kept messing it up. I had to go to a funeral. My sister lost her daughter, and I had to go to a funeral. And the rain washed it out. And I'd come home, and I cry with it. I cry with my garden just like I cry with my kids. Because it hurts when you go out there and you're working all by yourself, digging this stuff and planting. And all of a sudden, you see what you done went through and been out there for weeks at a time. And it's just going to waste. You know, and I go out there and cry. I ain't going to tell you no lie. I go out there and I start crying. God, you said a man don't work, you don't eat, you know. And I'm asking him to put this corn back up and this, that, and that. And somebody said, well, that corn ain't going to stand back up. Well, my corn stood back up just like it normally would. And this year I had many ear corn on cob, mini cobs. I had about 4 or 5 big ones like that. But the rest of them were mini corn. And I said, do they have mini corn cobs that you plant? I don't know. But that's what they were. But they were really cute. And green beans, I had green beans. I have peppers, onions, potatoes, bell peppers, and I had 3 different kind of beans and green onions and tomatoes. And they all grow real well. Well, like I said, it starts from a start, but your ground might look like this when you start. But then you got to get out there. If you're going to have something to grow, you got to get out there and get that stuff up. And it don't all come up at the first time. And weeks come by, and you come back, and this mess will be right back in there again. See, but what you do, you just get it, and then you put your dirt. It starts with a seed. Everything starts with a seed. Ain't nothing I got over here that didn't come from a seed. I'm going to show you. I dry my seeds out every year. Says, Becky, you might not want this one. That's what I thought. See, that's smart. She came from a big family, too. Plenty seeds. This is enough seeds to last you a couple of years. You don't, you know. These things multiply.
So you take and replant that.
I take and replant it.
You said, but you dry them.
Dry them. Yep. I take them and lay them out and let them dry. And once they dry, they get just like seeds. See there? They fall apart and they fall right in. And I re-dry them. I had some corn seeds and some bean seeds, but I think I left them over in my jacket pocket. But everything starts from a seed. And once you get that seed, you put it in the dirt. Once you put that in the dirt, it's not going to just pop back up. You got to go back, you know, you got to water it. And you got to nurture it. Talk to your seeds, you know, just like you do your plants. Most important is to talk to God because he's the one going to make them grow. And when you do that, you'll find out that you're very well blessed with the produce that you get. Sometimes something will look like it's got a few little yellow leaves and stuff. This, that, and that. I'm not one to go out there and pluck off all the little yellow leaves and stuff. I don't have time for all that. But when you start getting stuff around it that's going to choke it out, you have to go back and pull it up. You know, like he tells us, weed our lives. And you have to do the same thing with this garden. If you think you're going to garden and you ain't getting no weeds, there's something wrong. I ain't never seen a garden that ain't had weeds in it. Especially if you go a couple weeks at a time without going down into it. Now, I use horse manure sometimes. Can't stand it. But it works real well. I really like to use the the liquid and the powder vegetable grow, Miracle Grow. I like to use Miracle Grow. I got a thing that I put in that stands about that high, and I fill it up with water, fill it with Miracle Grow. And now, when I get down there, and I can't stand bugs. I like these. You can buy these at the dollar store for $1, and you get about 10 in a box. And they good for just putting outside when you're outside. And that smoke goes out around, and it'll keep all them bugs from aggravating you to death when you're doing that. But you never go in a garden without you eye protection either. All this stuff is stuff that you need when you go in the garden. I didn't bring my rake because that boy just broke it. But I get my eye protectors. And you have to have things to protect your hands. And you got to have bug spray. Unless you like getting bit, you got to have bug spray. Bug spray. And this here will keep you from hurting your eyes, because gnats always want to go at your eyeballs. And I don't know about other people, but I have a problem with gnats at my eyeballs. It seems like that's the first thing they want to do is get at your eyeballs. So you need some good old protective glasses. And the sun gets hot, you'll need a hat for your head. Now you say that's got a hole in it. Well, you'd be surprised. Hey, you'll be surprised what it do for your head and your eyes when that sun is, and calluses. You need gloves, because some of the things that you pick up down there, you can pick up bacteria and stuff on your hands and stuff, and people don't think about all that. You get a sore, or you get a cut or something, put something on it immediately. I keep stuff in there for that too. When I walk around, I've got an apron on like this right here. And everybody might think that I don't put this stuff on, but I put this stuff on because I don't have time. My garden is not just right in my door. I have to walk down the hill. This is an apron. They're disposable. Wear it till you tear it up. You got pockets. You can put your glasses. You can put things that you need, your little tubes or whatever, this, that, and other. When my fruit is young, I'll stick it in the pockets. But then, after it starts to growing, I got a bigger old basket that I put on my side, like they used to use a long time ago. A little metal basket. But growing food is easy. The hard part about it is nurturing it. And you have to nurture it. First thing is you got to love to garden.
Yeah.
It's like anything else. If you don't put a little love in it, you ain't going to get nothing. But you got to put a little love in it. And if you go out there and you'll hoe it, you'll till it, and you'll keep it, the weeding out, you won't have a hard time gardening. Yeah. I knew nothing about gardening. And then all of a sudden I've had stalks just so high that, I remember one time it was thunder and lightning. It was like looking at a Stephen King movie, which I can't stand. And I was in the garden trying to tie up some tomatoes. And I was just crying. Everybody likes to eat, but nobody don't like to work. And I was just, nobody want to help me tie up these tomatoes. And I'm just crying, And all of a sudden it's thunder and lightning, and you see this big light and this, that, and the. And I'm on my knees, and I got all this wire, and I'm tying my crops over here. Now that's how many tomatoes that I have. And all of a sudden, I see something coming through that garden that scared me deaf. It's my brother. Well, you going to tie these up? You better come on. I'm going to help you tie them up. And we tied them up. God will give you, if you're willing, and then share. Share. You don't have to sell everything you got. I ain't never sold no produce, but I like to share.
I know you've come to my house many times bringing tomatoes.
I tried to make her a gardener, but...
She tried. She really did. She came over my house and she showed me what to do, and
we put out some beans and some tomatoes.
And the groundhog came and got it.
See, you have all kind of little visitors if you ain't careful. Make you a scarecrow. It don't have to be nothing fancy, as long as it'll blow or move. I got pinwheels I put in mine. Birds and stuff, they don't like that kind of stuff. And then if the sun hits it and it reflects, they really don't like that kind of stuff. And you can put a bell or something, this, that, and other. I found out that deers don't like things that are up, because they look, and the guy explained to me that they are afraid of getting caught in it. Like they got senses too. We act like everything's dumb, but these animals are very wise. Their instincts and whatever. And they won't go near it because they're going to get hung up in it, and they know that. So, but now a groundhog, he'll go anywhere. I had a pig, a big old ugly pig. What is it? Them pigs that the people buy all the time, keep it on. Yeah. And it was out in my garden. My brother said, I seen a big old pig in your garden. That's what's been in it. I said, well, why didn't you shoot him? Well, I didn't know where it come from. Well, he don't belong here. He's eating everything I got. You should have shot him. He said. And he just laughed. And you have to be real careful where you buy your seeds. Okay. Just because you buy a seed doesn't mean it's the seed that you asked for or the seed that is the produce that you want. If you're not familiar with seeds, and I wasn't familiar with seeds, and one time I got some seeds from Walmart that was supposed to be green bean seeds, and it was poppy seeds. That was when I first started gardening. I had the beautifulest garden of poppies you ever want to see, mixed with corn and green beans.
Oh my goodness.
And as they were growing, I was steadily praying. My brother said, you can pray all night and all day, but I ain't never seen a green bean seed look like that. And another time I got gourds. And it was gourds all over the place. I didn't know what a gourd was.
But it sounds like whatever seed you put in the ground
That's
was
what
going
you're
to
gonna
prosper anyway.
Yeah. But you
Yeah.
but if you want food, you ain't prospering too much. If you get a gourd.
So it sounds like you learned how to garden by trial and error.
By trial and error. Yeah.
Okay.
By trial and error.
How can we get this generation interested and involved in gardening?
You know what? I find out that really and truthfully, kids are interested in gardening. You know, I just took pictures the other day of my nephew's kids all in the garden, and they got hoes and rakes and stuff, and they're gardening. It's not hard. You know, you start with a kid kind of early. Now, when my nieces and nephews come from the city, it tickles them to death when they go back there and they can water my beans or pick a tomato or stuff like that. They never want to go home and stuff. But if you never introduce them to it, a lot of times, because people feel like kids going to get in their way or they're going to get on their nerve. And when you're gardening, you don't want a whole lot of this, that, and other, and they feel like that they're going to get on their nerve and whatever, and they don't take the time to show them. If we would take more time today to show these kids love and discipline, and then take them to the garden, they'll be a lot better off than they are just leaving them alone.
Yeah.
Because they are curious. And when you put your hand in dirt, I'm going to tell you, I don't know about nobody else, it's something about when you're in the dirt. I wear gloves, but a lot of times it's things you have to do. You just have to take gloves off. And I don't have no bad calluses and stuff. You got stuff for that too. But the thing about it is that you begin to think and you see things so much clearer. You never really imagine. You can take one seed and get this many seeds out of what you to get grow back. You don't have to buy anything. Just dry your corn out, replant it, replant your peppers and all this, that, and other. Every seed takes after its kind, whatever you want, you know. And if you'll just do that year after year, you'll always have seed for the harvest. And you'll always have food.
You're inspiring me to start again, to try again.
Well, you know, that's on its way. You're going to, really, truthfully, it's on its way. I grew some corn one year that I grew nothing but for the deers. They ate every piece of corn I had in that garden. And, you know, God says when you do things, do it as unto the Lord. You know, do it with all you, the best intentions there was. I thought, well, if I can't get no corn, I might as well feed the deers. And that corn kept coming and they kept eating. I didn't have no corn that year because they ate everything that was out there. And I thought, now, you know, this is a shame. But you have to take a look at it. They turn all the mountains down and stuff. And they have to eat the way that we do, you know. And, you know, you have to share. Might not be with who you want to share, but you have to share. You have to share. So gardening is good for anybody. I guarantee you, if you get out there and you get in it, you'll forget about some of these ailments you got and some of this depression and what have you. Because it's something.
And it's something that we do need to pass to our kids so that it can continue.
Right.
You know, it's I see a lot of in our generation we always say if something terrible was to happen and the grocery stores are gone and no food on the shelves and, you know, we wouldn't know how to survive.
We wouldn't know how to survive.
You know, but you know, these are things that we need to know how to plant a seed.
Plant a seed.
You know.
And always plant one in somebody's life because you don't never know who you inspire. You know, sometimes people just need a little nudge at different things or just a little something to bring them out of the mold that they're in, you know. And I can tell you, garden, I get real happy when somebody knocks on my door and says, look what I got for you. You know, especially if it's green and edible.
Yeah. Well, let me ask our audience here. Anybody here garden?
Used to a little bit, not much anymore.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Are you inspired to try?
Yeah.
You know, if you don't have nothing but a tomato in a big flower pot.
No.
I mean, if you ain't got nothing but a tomato in a big flower pot, you know, you'd be surprised how many tomatoes that come from that one flower pot.
Yeah. Well, I honestly tried that time. And, you know, I couldn't understand it because, you know, I throw them tomatoes out there and the ones that the groundhog got, the other ones wouldn't grow. And I moved them over on my porch and that didn't work. And I go up to my younger brother's house and he's giving away cherry tomatoes that he grew in his yard.
Yes.
All he did was throw the seeds out there and they grew.
Well, man told me, that's what the man told me. He said, well, you know what? Said, they after so many times they've been there, they ought to just come back. I said, well, I'm just going to inform you. Mine ain't came back. So he bought me some of them that he had. They didn't come back either. But, you know, I didn't get alarmed because what you do is just take an open one of them, slap it on the paper plate. When it dries, then you know, go at it again. Yeah. But I'd like to be able to go out there and throw something out and it comes back 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
It ain't never worked for me yet, but, you know, it's going to happen, I guess. Sooner or later, one time at least.
Any questions y'all want to ask Portia about gardening?
She was talking about the soil. I told you I tried right over there next to the old Kenneth Combs' old house.
Yeah.
I went over on that hillside and I did it myself. Did it and I planted everything. But I called 2 experts. I called my Uncle George Olinger and A.B. Olinger. Uncle George came up there and told me I did everything wrong. But the soil.
Right. Was it red? That red?
Said it was not good soil up there on that where that was.
Right.
And he was telling me what I had to do. And by then I said, I'm done.
Yeah.
So that was a generation, that knows.
Yeah.
That knows.
Yes.
Yeah.
And those are the things that our generation have to learn.
Yeah.
Those are the things that need to be passed down.
Right. But you got to ask because, you know, even in a grocery store when you be standing in line, a couple of the older guys, you'd ask them things, this, that, and other, and they tell you, and I'm thinking, really? And I can't wait to go home and try it, you know. And it worked, you know, because like I said.
If you notice in the in the farmer's market, you'll see some of them that's having the green beans and green. You see some young people helping them out. Yeah. And I'm quite sure that whoever has grown those have told those young people what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So you do see.
You still see more young people today than you did in the farmer's
market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's this whole thing, this whole tradition of passing down, you know, to our next generation. And, you know, that's something that all of us, you know, regardless of, you know, what it is, we need to pass it on to the next generation. Just like the tradition of quilting. You know, we want to pass it on to the next generation so it can continue. Yeah. So it's this whole thing about passing it on.
That's just the way of life. That's why everybody has to grow. And, you know, that's why when you're a baby, you don't stay a kid, you get to be grown. And that's the same way with vegetables and anything else. And one thing about it, you feed a kid, you feed your vegetables and stuff, you know, and everything has a way. And somebody might find something that's a little bit easier for them to do it. And you might try it and it might not work for you. But then it may work for you and work for them too. But everybody's got to find their way of how they handle things. But the one thing that you never forget is you got to plant it, you got to water it, you got to weed it, and you got to hold it and take care of it. Yeah. Now, them are some steps. I don't care what you do, you can't get around.
And the vegetables that come out of your garden make that beautiful vegetable soup that we ate earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Works good. And I'm telling you, you can grow stuff just as nice in a big flower pot as you can a big spot out there in the yard. I see people that I've got certain pots that I put up close to the house, you know, like cherry tomatoes and all that stuff. They said, and I can eat them all summer, a winter too if I could get them. And you go and you put it in it and they just grow up just as pretty and you got plenty. But then you can make juice and everything else. You don't have to, it's not like you just got to have a great big place to garden. All you need is some good dirt and a mind and imagination and do what you're supposed to. You know, because my sister, this year was going to try beside her garage. She got plenty of places beside her garage. But if you don't put it in there and start it, it won't grow. And she got them, and they still probably sitting in the basement.
Well, she was talking about cherry tomatoes.
Uh-huh.
One thing that we bought this year down at the farmer's market, we bought a hanging pot.
Yeah, yeah,
It was full of cherry
yeah,
tomatoes.
yeah,
And those things grew all summer until about a month ago.
yeah. They do.
You could walk by and people would come by and they'd pick them tomato like you was getting a piece of bubble gum or something.
You do. It's not hard.
It just hung on the porch. And
Yep,
it grew.
yep. You be surprised. Now see,
When he started looking, we wasn't too good on giving it something to drink. So
well, you have to learn. That's the part of learning. You know, you look at him and think he getting.
real wilty with
Yeah, and every leaf, yeah, every leaf on plants and stuff, they'll tell you, you know, what they need. They'll tell you whether they need nutrition or what have you. This and that. You just have to kind of watch it, you know, because some things you can plant, some things don't need to have just the full sun, and maybe the indirect sun is better. And you just have to watch it, and that's how you learn. You know, you may not know, but once you put it out there a few times and start reacting this way, and it won't react that way, and you think, well, I need to change that. And then you change, and he looks like he just loves it over there, you know. So then you put him back, and next time try to find some place that, you know. I don't just change it every year, but I try maybe at least every 2 years, especially because, you know, like he says, you can wear the ground out, this, that, and other. But it's something about changing and transferring them that it's just like plants in your house. You bring it from outside to move him into the winter, and he starts to droop. He can't get what he needs. Well, just get you a grow light, you know, and you can put that grow light on him and he'll perk back up. It does the very same thing as the sun. So gardening is really something that you just have to have a mind for. You have to want to do it like everything else.
Yeah.
You have to, you know, you got to want to. And if you don't want to, you ain't going to.
All right.
That's it.
Well, thank you for stopping by and teaching us about gardening.
I know I have no desire, but I learned a lot.
You know what? I tell everybody, pick one thing. Just one thing, maybe something that you like to eat. If it ain't nothing but green beans, pick one thing. And I guarantee you, if you just put 2 of them green beans in there and you watch that grow up, you'll get you a good mess of green beans. May not be just once, maybe twice. But if you just got 2 green beans and put in there, I can guarantee you, if you watch it and do what you're supposed to do, you at least get a good mess of green beans off of it. And you might realize that, hey, that wasn't too bad. And then you try it. And then you might think one day, I sure glad I did, because it's time for folks to get hungry. Hey, and you'll be more than welcome.
Hey, the packages of seed that
you put up on the wall. And so then somebody else came in and donated.
we came back and bought tea, lemonade, water.
So he went down to Walmart and he said,
So they did big
school comes out here with the TV, that's what's going. And this woman came out and made the TVs, and she had been wanting to buy a TV for I don't know how long. And he said, where you live? She said, well, I ain't had no anything home. He said, where you live? He said, don't come here.
Those are backsides? Are those the backsides of the
The
school?
back side, yeah.
And God said, give it to somebody.
So you can see the stitching,
Yeah.
you know, clear.
And it was a great big TV.
How she crocheted that on there, stitched that on there. She actually wove the basket and crocheted the flower.
Everybody got a TV, Walmart. Put your food on sale.
Has a lot of detail.
Everybody got a TV, Walmart. Put your food on sale. Me on sale.
I tell you, I already eat and every TV, so I gotta be
That's
without.
nice.
I'm not paying to put the food on sale.
Okay.
It's great.
All right. Look good. Let's see.
The snowman is pretty.
It is, ain't it?
You need to come and make
You know
that,
what?
Jane
Looking at it, I
Lee.
thought it was painted on the wall.
You thought it was painted?
But here, this is what.
Can I look at the top?
Snowman.
You can make that, Jane Lee.
No.
Who made that one?
Cindy Hurt. But that simple is square.
Oh, really? I probably could.
Oh, wow.
believe I could.
I believe you.
So the other row will go across the bottom,
Yeah, you can.
and I'll have some blocks
Okay.
go in and make it fit.
Wow. Have they seen this?
Yeah.
Turn it
That
around.
is nice.
That's nice.
It's
Got
long.
the strings off of that.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Where's the railroad?
It's gotta go down at bottom, right, Kate? Bottom or top? Bottom.
What, the railroad?
Yeah.
It's already on there.
Oh,
It's
oh, yeah, that's right.
I thought
Maybe it was first,
on
yeah.
it.
Yep, there it is.
Further on this way.
Mountain's gonna be on top.
Beautiful.
Be on the mountain top, right? Mountain top.
So I've got the other three that'll go on the bottom with some
Mountain
corner
top.
blocks. Some blocks to block it off.
Hey, those
mountains are
beautiful.
Oh,
Becky. That looks good.
This is mine
You probably stand in line.
that I cut out. That's all I did was cut out.
Well,
I like that. That's good.
That's house for Becky.
Nancy, come and look.
Come and look. Come and look.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
All of it's not on here yet.
Right.
But
It's beautiful.
it
You
is.
did good on your schoolhouse girls.
Yeah.
It's a real.
I'm surprised, really.
you're not. Don't be. Don't be. Don't be surprised.
But I am who I am.
me. Don't be
Yeah,
surprised.
we all surprised us every time, so.
That's beautiful.
I knew.
Look at your schoolhouse, Becky, right there on top.
I worked so hard.
You did good, girl.
Hey, you look good too.
Thank you, girl.
Let's see, Jane. Look at the
I
basket.
think that's a beautiful
Ain't that
basket.
Basket's beautiful.
Who did that basket?
Phyllis, she did
Phyllis
that.
did the
She did
basket.
that.
That's a beautiful
She weaved
basket.
that like that.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Look
Look
at look at the you did fantastic.
I did, didn't I? Oh, I did.
So, will we finish it tonight?
Will we finish it?
Uh-huh.
I have to cut blocks to block off the bottom row.
Okay. Okay.
And once I get the bottom row on there, then we put a border around it
Okay.
and we can do the backing. I got pieced together something for the back with the border, and we can give it to her and she can quilt it.
Okay. Okay. So what we'll probably end up doing when it's quilted, maybe just coming together.
Yeah.
Did y'all hear that?
What now?
Once it's quilted, once we give it to, what's her name?
Sheridan.
Sheridan to quilt. And then whenever she is done with that, Pam,
I'm sorry.
once Sheridan has quilted it, then can we kind of gather back here just for the unveiling?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. Anytime.
All
Anytime.
right.
If you want to do it after hours or during either one.
Right. Yeah, because it'll just be the unveiling of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
Yes,
the-
yes, yes.
Well, I'm glad to take it off. You just get to
Next Monday is our last
Yeah.
official workshop.
And then what you do, start again or what?
This one went quick.
Well, yeah.